Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the All Things Philly podcast, hosted by myself, Ethan Reich, and this is episode number 2. What an eventful weekend it's been in the Premier League. A lot of eventful games and a lot of surprising games, in my opinion. A lot of teams starting to show who they really are and starting to stamp their ground in the Premier League. And these are teams who I didn't really expect to show out as much as they're doing right now. And I'm going to start with the Crystal Palace game because I thought Palace looked absolutely amazing against Aston Villa, winning 3-1 quite convincingly, and I think it should have been at least 4 or 5. Zaha, great performance. He's looking more and more comfortable in that number 9 role as the main striker. He has this physicality to him that I feel like no one really gives him credit for. Everyone gives him credit for being that fast, tricky player, but it's a lot more than that. I think he's very strong and is coming more and more natural into that number 9 role and becoming more and more the striker that Palace requires him to be. And that's not to take anything away from the people behind him, like Eze and Michael Olise, who had a really good game. Mateta coming on, scoring a goal for Edouard, which is really good to see. A great game from Crystal Palace, and I think Patrick Vieira has those guys playing absolutely amazing at the moment. And I think they're a really, really dark horse to challenge for the top 7, top 8 of the table, especially with the fall-offs of Manchester United and the team who I support, Chelsea, which I'm going to talk about now. 3-0 losers to Leeds. Yes, away from home, but still. We have not lost to, I say we like I'm on the team, but Chelsea have not lost to Leeds in the last 20 years. And the one day we do, the first time we lose to them, 3-0 defeat with a red card. But the red card had really nothing to do with the 3-0 loss. That came after all 3 goals. And we lost our best player, our best defender at least, Koulibaly, for the next game, which is great. But, 3-0. Loss against Leeds, and like I said in my previous episode, I'm not too convinced that Chelsea are going to finish in the top 4, and this performance quite showed that. I felt like we were quite flat in attack. Havertz didn't really offer anything, and I feel like he hasn't of late. I feel like that number 9 role, unlike Zaha, who I just spoke about, isn't made for him. I feel like we don't really have an out-and-out striker who will get us goals. And I think that's going to cost us. And, we just looked terrible against Leeds. Leeds could have made it 4 or 5, I feel like. Jack Harrison had a very good game for Leeds. Their midfielders and defenders played very well. I can't even name, individuals. They just played really well as a team. Meslier made a couple good saves in goal. Unlike our keeper, who had an absolute howler for the first goal. Yes, I know Mendy likes to usually play it out from the back. But when you're under pressure by 2 men running at you, and you're in a tight space corner, you have really only one option, and that option is not guaranteed. Just clear the ball, just get it out of danger. Instead, Mendy fumbles around with it, gets intercepted, and tapped into an open net, and that's 1-0 down. And from there, the heads dropped, but even if that didn't happen, I did not see us winning that game. That performance was pretty terrible. But sadly, I said I come to expect it. And I see a lot of teams on the uprise, like Arsenal, who I mentioned last week. What a performance again. This time, winners at Bournemouth 3-0. Great games for Saliba, who scored an own goal last game and scored a goal this game for the right team, which is nice. Great finish on his weak foot, top right corner. That was really nice to see. Jesus scored, but being offside, but impacted the game well. Odegaard with 2 really good goals. Arsenal are playing absolutely great stuff right now, and I feel like the things we used to say about Arsenal are that they lose to teams who they should beat, or at least get a point from. Now what I'm seeing is they're beating teams who they should beat, but by comfortable margins. Beating a good Palace, who I just mentioned, 2-0. Beating a decent Bournemouth side, 3-0. I see a lot of ups for Arsenal, and they're the only team left with perfect record, 3 wins, no draws, no losses. They have such a young team, young manager, young hungry mindset. I really think they could turn some heads this season in the right way because they haven't been doing that of late, the last couple seasons. But Arsenal were here for the taking, and I'm really excited to see. Yes, I am a Chelsea fan, and this is a rival London club, challenging for positions Chelsea don't seem capable of reaching right now. But it's nice to see Arsenal back to competitive form, pushing for what they should be pushing for, and that's the league title. And who knows what could happen in the Premier League, man. That's why it's the best league in the world. So, yeah, great performance from Arsenal. The Everton game was also a really good game. Even though it only finished 1-1, Everton Nottingham Forest, I feel like that was a very intense game where Everton had a lot, and I mean a lot of chances to score. I think they should be a little gutted with the 1-1 because, again, they had so many chances. But, again, they're missing their top striker, Calvert-Lewin, and they're still adapting to life without Richarlison. So it'll take some time, but Everton look a lot better than last year. Damari Gray still proves to be a great signing for them. And I think he only cost like $3 million last year, so he's doing really good. But that game was really fun to watch as well. As far as the Spurs game, it's one I want to talk about a little bit more. I wasn't too impressed with what I saw from Spurs against a pretty good Wolves team, but, at home, I would expect Tottenham to be a little bit better. Kane grabbed the goal to make him the first all-time goal scorer with the same club in the Premier League, 185 goals. Pretty remarkable stuff, but I feel like Son was relatively quiet that game. Perisic made his debut, was pretty impactful, but only the 1-0 by Spurs. Though getting the win is all that's important, but I didn't seem too confidence driven by Spurs, and I think Arsenal were definitely the better team of the two this weekend in terms of performance. Because Wolves did have a lot of chances to really make it 1-1, and they probably should have made it 1-1. Pedro Neto had a lot of good chances. Jimenez had a really, really good chance that Lloris saved well. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Spurs. I think they were lucky to get the win in 3 points, and I think they think the same thing, which is a good mindset to have because they're going to work on that, probably be ready for next game, hopefully. But Leicester Southampton's another one I want to talk about. I had pretty high expectations for Leicester, and I felt like they had a pretty good team. A lot of players from there rumored to go into bigger clubs like Wesley Fofana, James Maddison, James Justin. But they're struggling. Southampton were clearly the better team. Che Adams, 2 wonderful goals by him. James Maddison did get the first goal of the game and the only goal for Leicester. Beautiful free kick, but Leicester looked flat. Tielemans lost possession a couple times against Southampton. I think the transfer stuff might be getting to his head as he knows, and most of the fans at the club know that a lot of the clubs pushing for Tielemans are a lot bigger and better than Leicester at the moment. So I don't know. That team's struggling, and I didn't expect them to struggle this much. But don't mind me saying that because Chelsea could finish higher than what I expected, so that's not bad. And also we had West Ham versus Brighton, 2-0 defeat for West Ham, and another team struggling. And I feel like Palace and Newcastle, who I'm going to talk about shortly, so that's the main game I want to talk about. Palace and Newcastle went from teetering relegation, lower mid-table sides. Leicester and West Ham were like pushing top 7, top 6 sides. They just swapped this season, it looks like, so far. West Ham, 2-0 loss at home against Brighton. Another team that's looked absolutely flat, really offered nothing. I don't know what to say, really. It's kind of a boring game for West Ham, and I don't know, having such a good season last year with players like Jared Bowen bursting onto the scene and having a lot of people pushing for him to get a flight to the World Cup. on the England team. His campaign's not looking too promising anymore, is it now? But yeah, Declan Rice does look rumored there. Maybe not this transfer window, but probably the next, or at least the summer, he'll probably be gone because this team does not look good at all. And needs some attacking power. Just needs a lot, really. And the final game I want to talk about in the Premier League was Newcastle versus Man City, which happened today as I'm recording this Sunday the 21st. What a game this was. Started off Gundogan scoring in, I believe, the 4th or 5th minute. And I was there like, oh, it's going to be one of those City going to win 4-1, 4-0. It'll be done by the 60th minute. We can all go home. Before the match, I said, watch out for Newcastle. They might put in a pretty good performance at home, a rocking St. James Park with a team, like a relatively new team, new aspirations because of the new owners and new expectations. I had high hopes in the beginning, and I saw Gundogan score 4 minutes in, and I was like, oh, well, this is awkward. But then, Almiron, what a player he's turned out to be this season as well. So much energy and so much pace and aggression and fight. And it's nice to see an MLS player thrive abroad in the big league like the Premier League. So him scoring that first goal that was originally ruled offside and then checked, given a goal, I think put the St. James and Newcastle fans into rupture, to say the least, and really pushed them on. When Callum Wilson scored the second goal, St. James went absolutely crazy. Man City looked a little bit lost for a period in that time. And the Trippier free kick. Oh my God, he left Ederson absolutely no chance with that one, making it 3-1. And I thought, oh my God, Newcastle about to destroy Man City. And then they came right back. Haaland scoring a pretty jammy goal. Little deflection, bouncing ball in the box. Haaland just scoops up and scores. I mean, that's what he's there to do. They signed him as a goal scorer, a poacher, and that's what he was today. Probably should have had another. He had a good one-on-one chance in the 51st minute. Maybe could have rounded the goalkeeper because the goalie kind of knew Haaland wanted it on his left foot and kind of baited him to shoot, which he did and saved it. If Haaland would have looked that way, continued dribbling and slide it under, I think that would have been a goal. But he also hit the post later in that game after a good save by Nick Pope. But then late on, there was another goal, and that was 3-3 Man City versus Newcastle, and an overall pretty good game. You can see by the last 15 minutes, it was City trying to score that fourth and make it 4-3, and Newcastle kind of just said, okay, the draw is probably enough and what we deserve. Let's park the bus and just wrap up shop and try to see it out. And they did. If it wasn't for Kyle Walker, St. Maximin might have scored a goal. He had a couple breakaways where he could have maybe threatened Ederson, but any attack that Newcastle had in the last 10 minutes was relatively dealt with quite easily by City. But yeah, City dropped points against Newcastle, who I initially thought would challenge, and they did. And maybe Newcastle leaving that game thinking, oh, maybe we should have had 3 points. 3-1 up against City with 40-odd minutes to go. You know, it's a lot of time for City, but Newcastle on the front foot a lot of that first half, and I don't believe they wanted halftime to come, honestly, but that was a really good game to watch, and it's nice to see City drop points early on. Really nice to see that. And the game of the week tomorrow, Monday, Man United versus Liverpool. Liverpool obviously without Darwin Nunez due to him headbutting the Palace defender last game. I think goes a little bit soft for a headbutt call, but was it like outrageous and maybe worthy of a red card? Yeah, but the guy did sell it a lot. The defender sold it a lot. But yeah, Darwin probably deserved that red card. But I don't think it's going to affect Liverpool that much. Jota will probably just slot into the center forward role as a false 9, play Salah and Luis Diaz. Or maybe Firmino might come in. Who knows? I would love to see Roberto Firmino get a start in the Premier League again, but who knows? I'm really looking forward to this game. Obviously, Manchester United had a horrid start, and you could probably say the same about Liverpool to their standards. 2 draws in 2 games. As City dropped points this week, I'm sure it's Liverpool's top objective to win this game. Yeah, they were out there, an £80 million striker, but they still have a great squad around them. Probably one of the best players we've seen in the Premier League, and Mo Salah raring to go against Man United. I think it's going to be a good game. And you got Manchester United, who's had a terrible start, winless, pointless. Ten Hag might want to make a mark as who he is as a manager and who his players are and get a result at Liverpool. But what do I expect? I expect 3-0, maybe 3-1 Liverpool. Should be light work of Manchester United, I won't lie, even though they're out their striker. I just don't see how Man U could lose 4-0 at Brentford and expect to get a point at Liverpool or against Liverpool. But, the Premier League's crazy is all we know. And yeah, it's going to be a good game tomorrow. And it'll let us know if Liverpool can really challenge this year. Because Arsenal might overtake them. Like, they're surprising me a lot. Like, of how they're playing and how good football they're playing. Liverpool just don't seem to be there yet. I'm sure they will get there and start playing the football that they have been playing for the last couple of years. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think it's a big test for Liverpool against United. If they don't get 3 points, I think some questions are going to be asked of the personnel on the team. I know Thiago's been out for a while, and he's kind of an integral part to that midfield. But 2 draws against Fulham and Palace, who are pretty good, you got to get 3 points against Manchester United, which I shouldn't be saying due to Manchester United's huge stature as a club. But they're clearly in shambles, so 3 points is needed for Liverpool. Same as United though, so it's going to be a good game. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I plan to stream these and make them longer. That's going to probably start in the next week or two when I'll do a little watch-alongs of games and talk about topics during the games to make it more interactive. Well, thank you guys for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.